Hello, and welcome back to our playthrough of the Bounty Hunter side mission in Escape Velocity Nova. So when we last left off, we had just captured our quarry from the houseless station in the Kippa system, and we're about to bring him back to stand trial on Aurora. Let's get right back into it. We need to make our daring escape, so just going to slam on those afterburners and try to get to a system containing a hypergate as fast as possible. The closest one is going to be Danny. So we're just going to hold down that J key. We'll be there before you know it. I'm actually kind of enjoying this kind of close quarters build we have going with the Thunderhead Lances and, dare I even say, the chain guns. I think probably the ion cannon is doing most of the work, though. But still, it's amusing. I consider myself amused. You land as close to the central stem of the arcology as you possibly can, calling for medical help for your prisoner as you recklessly plummet down through Aurora's atmosphere. As soon as you touch down, you throw your post-flight routine out the window and immediately get the severely injured Kaliuk out to the waiting medical teams as quickly as possible. After watching the men depart, you notice several Auroran warriors standing several meters away observing the proceedings. Before turning away, they all give you a small nod, acknowledging your skill. I imagine they all nod in perfect unison. You nod in return before heading inside and arguing over the comm unit with the dockmaster as to how much the maintenance and repair of your craft is going to cost you. Not much, we really didn't get injured. After taking care of your ship, you head off for what your insides tell you is the most dangerous part of the mission, returning to face Bindi. As soon as you set foot in the guild office, she almost pounces on you and asks question after question after question, trying to figure out everything that happened. Eventually, you manage to tell her pretty much everything, only to have her scold you for being careless about running through the rear door of the bar. "You could have been killed," she exclaims. "We can't have good people like you taking stupid risks with their lives for just a little money." At that, you jump at the chance to change the subject and ask her when you can pick up your pay. She looks at you askance and without saying a word, hands over a credit chip. You thank her profusely, only to have her admonish you to take more care next time. Alright, so that is the last we have to hear of Bindi, ever. Although I believe you do get your pay from her if you keep doing missions here in the Auroran Empire for the Bounty Hunters Guild. We're not going to do that because there's really no real reason to. They're interesting. They're mostly variations of disable this ship and capture the target alive, which it pays not bad, but we don't really need to for showing off the mission. It doesn't have any significant information as far as the Bounty Hunter story. Let's go and try to get this next one to fire. I believe it's a 35% chance. That seems to usually be the case. Wow, I just flew right into that heavily modified Pirate Enterprise, but I refuse to get disabled by such an awful ship. They're slow and they're bad. I will jump on this free trader, though, for no other reason than it's always nice to get a little bit more combat rating. I couldn't swoop in to board them before the Federation destroyer blew it up. Alright. This is not the correct thing. This is the Auroran hook. We're going to tell him no. And we're going to keep trying to get this to fire. Here we go. You realize that your well-earned rest is going to have to wait for another day as soon as you recognize Jack Fullstam heading towards you. "Really get around," he says as he sits down across from you. You shrug, saying it is necessary in this line of work. "I seem to spend all my time looking for you." You grin, waiting to hear what new escapade the Daymaster wants to pass along to you. That is the wrong version of here. "The guild wants to expand into Polaris space," he continues smoothly. "And guess who comes highly recommended?" He finishes with a smile. You snort, thinking that perhaps there should be some other space jock to run the Daymaster's errands. Jack continues. "The guild wants you to go over to find out a little bit more about the Polaris before we actually put together a formal proposal," he continues. "Think you're up for it?" "Of course we're up for it." "Well, the planet you're supposed to land on is called Kalari." I think it's amusing that he has trouble with Kalari and he even has a little question mark here. "And the system is something similar," he grinds out. "Hang on, I have it written down here." "I'm with you, Jack. Those are some hard names to pronounce." You wait while he reaches into a belt pouch before handing over a data crystal. "All we want you to do is to meet with whoever is in charge over there and find out what they're like," he continues. "Shouldn't be too dangerous. But the Polaris like to be left alone. Just keep an eye out. Remember, the Polaris have technology centuries ahead of ours, so think about running before fighting if things start getting out of hand." When you've finished all that, head back to Earth to get a little cash reimbursement and a debrief. He stands up, slugging down the rest of his drink. Good seeing you again, Spike Spiegel, and good luck. After finishing your drink, you head back to your beloved pirate's bounty and read the data crystal he gave you to see that the Daymaster wants to go to Kalari in the Kalari system. Looks like a long trip. It's actually not too bad. We shouldn't have to stop to refuel after we take off from the Cania station. Sorry, Port Kane is the actual station. Cania is the system. But anyway. Thankfully, you are restricted from buying certain technologies at the Polaris Outfitters, but thankfully a map is not restricted, so you can buy maps. Outbound is actually a independent system, but we're not going to bother to stop there because we don't need to. We will, however, buy a map at the first opportunity, just to kind of flesh things out a little bit. As you can see, it's really not that long of a trip. What's nice about Polaris space, as opposed to, say, Auroran space, is that it's kind of designed radially, so everything radiates out from the center system. Same way that the Federation is. The only one that's kind of a pain to deal with is the Auroran space, because it's in that big horseshoe pattern. Which is why it's nice that it has probably some of the best hypergate access of the three. Here's Kalari. You feel a little nervous as you complete your post-flight checks and cycle the hatch. You aren't very sure of what to expect of the Polaris, but from what you've seen, the technology makes your ship look like a dinosaur. You exit your ship to see an elderly brown-robed woman flanked by two gray-robed men who have a frightening aura of stillness about them. Spike Spiegel, thank you for making such a long and arduous journey, she begins. I am Biss Andrea, and I am here to inform you that we have no need of the services of your guild. She holds up a hand to forestall your protests. The crime rate amongst the Polaris is virtually nil, she explains, and we are more than capable of defending our borders, she shrugs. And that's why we met you here, she continues. We felt that there was no need to waste your time any further. You have made a long trip here for no return, and you have a long trip back. Before you go, please feel free to wander around so that you can make a full report back to your superiors. After she leaves, you wander around this technological heaven. You and your achievements shrink into insignificance next to it. Alright, so it's kind of a failure. It's not a failed mission because it is, strictly speaking, a success, but we will not be expanding into Polaris space in the same way that we did with the Aurorans. And we have to make the arduous, quote-unquote, journey back without the hypergates, as every hypergate in Polaris space was destroyed back during the, I believe, Federation Velos War. But no matter. It will definitely be interesting having to read out the Polaris names when we do that campaign. It's a great campaign, it's a great storyline, but man, it really is a mouthful, and the pronunciation is even more mysterious than some of these. Ooh, an Argosy, let's blow it up. Get in here and zap. There you go, Pegasus, I have saved you. Refuel on Port Kane, and dip into the Hypergate system. Make a quick pit stop through Korea, and very soon, we are down into the Sol system. Alright. You pilot into the now familiar docking bays. Your mind wanders over the events of the past few weeks. In retrospect, you can see why the Polaris were dismissive. They really don't need anything the Guild can offer. There seemed to be no poverty or crime amongst the Polaris, and if any of the readings coming from the Polaris ships were even vaguely accurate, you can see why nobody bothers them. Going through your post-flight routine, you mull over what to say in your debrief, as you doubt the Guild hierarchy, whoever that is, will be overly happy with your report. You finish up, you straighten your shoulders, look skyward for a second, and stride off to tell the Guild what they don't want to hear. You are surprised to see both Fulstam and Corrin in the office when you enter. They both look up as you enter. Tell me about the Polaris, says Corrin cheerfully. You look over to the more serious Fulstam and shake your head. Corrin drops a smile, and in a businesslike motion, locks the doors. As she sits back down, you quickly outline the events of your mission. You're met with a long silence when you finish. I take it you are starting to get a few ideas about my status in the Guild, Fulstam begins quietly after the pause. You nod. Although I doubt you've actually guessed the particulars, he indicates Corrin. Corrin here is the Daymaster. Your eyes widen slightly. Corrin chuckles. Well, the Daymaster's job is to take care of the day-to-day runnings of the Guild. She ruminates happily. And I'm in the perfect position to do that. The role of the Nightmaster is to be ready to handle any extraordinary situations that arise. You turn back to Jack and he nods. Yep, he agrees. That's me. I've been using you to help me deal with a great number of new situations, as I've learned to trust you more and more, he continues. Don't worry about this negative report. We can't win them all. Good advice, in the game and in life. Keep an eye out, though. I have a few more things coming up soon that I'll need your help with. And once again, the next mission will be available from some random Federation bar. And there'll be probably a 35 to 45% chance of occurring. So we might have to do a couple lands to get it to fire, but fire it shall. Only question is when. Here we go. Oh, I love the ambient sound that the stations have. You can hear kind of the announcements going on in the background. This little touches, which are so nice. You're about to order a drink when you see Jack Fullstem heading your way. You switch from one finger to two, and the Alcabot spits out 2 beers. Thanks, says Jack, as he slides down onto the vacant stool next to you. He sighs. I've been feeling a little parched the last couple of days. The atmosphere regulator in the Hunter has been playing up. You nod to a vacant corner booth, and the two of you head over to have a little more privacy. The guild has a problem, Jack says seriously. Do you remember the second rule of being a guild member? You reply there was something about not attacking other members. Well, it has come to my attention that someone, with a few friends, has been systematically violating that rule, he continues grimly, and I need someone to go and do something about it. Are you available? Of course we are. It's actually something of a running problem, sighs Fullstem. You see, our guild works along very similar lines to the Guild of Free Traders, read pirates. We operate within the bounds of the law. They aren't so constrained, and they make a lot more money. Therein lies the attraction. Once you become a competent bounty hunter, he explains, you have all the skills necessary to become a very rich pirate. Every few years we lose someone, but as far as I can tell, no senior members have gone over in about 4 decades. And nobody has ever gone so far as to deliberately target other guild members. But that is exactly what Gareth Drisbin and his friends have been doing, Jack continues, slamming his fists onto the table. I want you to go to Harbor in the Seychelles system and pick him up. We'll probably have a few of his lackeys protecting him in orbit, but he'll be down on the surface. Once you've picked him up, take him to Earth and we'll deal with him. Good luck. Alright, Gareth Drisbin, we're coming for you. What's nice about the Bounty Hunter mission string is you get to visit both of the quote-unquote pirate systems in the galaxy, which you really don't get to see much. The only other reasons you go to Seychelles here is for the Wild Geese storyline, if you're very lucky and get to do the Night of the Red Branch, or the pirate storyline when you, well, spoilers, when you finish the pirate storyline. Alright, so we get to do a little bit of interesting maneuvers here. Oh, there's actually a guild member here. That's a little bit unusual. Alright, so we're going to blow up these small interceptors going down to 1x speed here. Take one out with the tractor beam as we attack the others with our combination of chain guns and Thunderhead Lance. Really is pretty effective in close range. I know, they're just interceptors, it's nothing too impressive. Go attack the Wild Frontier, Pirate Enterprise here. Melted. And try to get the other one here. I got a little bit overzealous, so I think we'll just try to swing around and get into Harbor. And select it with the number pad. I'm going to try to fly off this ion. Let's see, being hit with an ion weapon, like a, oh, what are they called? Not gravimetric missile. No, I think it might be the gravimetric missile, actually. Will cause your turn rate to just be awful. Tanks your turn rate. I may have to take out this star bridge, for safety. And for fun. But I think we can just loop around, do a nice big circle here, and to get our trajectory on point, just have to make sure we slow down enough to land. He is a little bit faster than me, but that's not the game we're playing. Boom. That's how you do it. Almost before you land, you launch yourself out of your seat and into this station. You know something of the rules by which this place operates, and you know that what you're about to do breaks any number of them. If you are too slow, you'll end up as yet another pirate casualty. You sprint up the palatial residence of Gareth Brisbane and shoot down the door, killing the door guard standing behind them with your blistering hail of fire. You leap through the shattered remains of the door, laying down enough blaster fire to make most of Drisbane's hired thugs to keep their heads down. You reach into your suit and flip out a large stun grenade. You hurl it at your foes and dive behind cover. A huge flash nearly blinds you, and a rolling concussion wave washes over you. You quickly leap up and run past the inert forms of Drisban's heavies. Dashing upstairs, you find Drisban coming down the hallway, armed with a wicked-looking scatter blaster. You dive, firing from a full stretch, your blaster set to stun. You feel the heat of a number of blaster shots passing over and under your body. Luckily, none of them punch through you, but it is a close shave. Your bolts punch into Drisban's body, and he flies backwards, falling into a deep unconsciousness. You quickly grab him and head for your ship. Outside, you see that the pirate overlords of Harbor have already sent some of their minions down to investigate, and you are forced into a pitched gun battle just to reach your ship. Once inside, you slam the engines up to full, and you make your getaway. So, not quite as exciting as the one down in Houseless, in the Kippa system, but still pretty cool. Let's see if there's anything of interest here in the Outfitter. I'm just going to top up on chain gun ammo, just always a good idea to do that when you land. But there's nothing really of particular interest here. We have all the pirate outfits we really want. We're going to buy a map. Always buy a map. It's a good practice to get into. We're just going to zip away. We are in a very maneuverable ship. Go back up to 2x speed, because I don't think anything will be able to catch us, and we should be good to go. Alright. See, that's why maneuverability really is king in my opinion, because if you can outmaneuver, it doesn't matter if they have more firepower. And we just have to zip down into these hypergates, and we are home free. Pretty fun, though. Alright, let's sit down. As you pile your way into one of the Kane Band's countless docking bays, Gareth Drisban continually hurls various forms of abuse at you. Eventually his tirades set your teeth on edge, and you give a cold look over your shoulder. Remember the second rule, you state icily. He immediately subsides. You open your hatch to see the waiting Jack Fulstam, who looks pleased to see you bring in the traitorous Drisban. Well, he drawls in a sugary tone, it isn't my old friend Gareth. He looks more serious. Forget some of the rules, did we? He asks sarcastically. Perhaps you should learn what happens to those who bite the hand that feeds them. Fulstam turns to you and thanks you for your extraordinary service before telling you to seek Corn in the main office to get a suitable reward. He turns back to Drisban. Come on, you snake, he hisses angrily. You and I have much to discuss. With that, he frog marches the prisoner off to some dark hidey hole to exact the guild's revenge. Alrighty. After taking care of your ship, you head off to talk to Corn about getting your reward for this nasty piece of guild business. She is actually dealing with another guild member claiming a bounty when you walk in. As soon as she sees you, she stops her banter with this man and pays him his money before coming over to you. You keep impressing, she says seriously. We've had a few problems dealing with renegade bounty hunters over the last few years, and up until now, Jack didn't trust anybody else to take care of them. That's what he's been grooming you for from the time you joined. Corn looks around and leans a little closer before whispering conspiratorially. Actually, I suspect he might be thinking of retiring soon. She winks, stepping back and arching her eyebrows. Guess who would be next in line? Keep checking the mission BBS, Corn continues. And if anything else like this comes up again, I'll post it for you. In the meantime, here's 250,000 credits for your efforts. Have fun. So it pays quite well. That is very good. Alright. And we're just going to try to get into the next mission string immediately. But as she indicates, there are new bounty hunter missions that you get for doing these. And I will show off that in the mission BBS if one appears. I can't promise we'll do it though. Yeah, so here we go. Renegade Bounty. It's come to the attention of the guild that a member has been attacking other members in an effort to steal their record and to claim their bounties. I don't know why they want to steal their records, but sure. Actually, we'll accept it just to read the blurb as well, but I don't think we'll do it. Message for the eyes of Spike Spiegel only. Fulstam has heard about other renegades. He says that the person you're looking for has a base on Tekel LP in the rear system, and goes about in a ship named the Gunslinger. Find it, destroy it, and check his base for stolen goods and return to Earth to pick up your payment. Good luck, Corin. Actually, that might be fun. Let's go do that. We will try to get the next mission so we don't have to do that again. But, yeah, and here it is. After ordering your usual drink, you sit down and put your feet up for a few hours. You are quietly enjoying the music of the band playing in the corner until Jack comes through the door. You sigh, take your feet off the chair, and wave to get his attention. I seem to spend more time looking for you than actually doing my job, Fulstam grumbles without preamble. I've got another mission that needs your touch. He chuckles as you roll your eyes in mock surprise. In a roundabout way, the rebels have gotten in touch with me, he continues in a hushed voice. They went to extraordinary lengths to do so and to maintain their security. Apparently, they have some information they want to pass on, and the trouble they went to just get in touch tells me that it might be serious. Interested in a courier job? Sure. Obviously, they didn't pass on a lot, continues Folstam. There's one thing the rebels do well, it's security. If you believe their propaganda, one of their leaders is the former head of Federation Intel, so that'd be Frandl. Regardless, whoever taught them how to run a tight ship did a good job. The Bureau would love to bust them up, but so far have been unable to. They want to meet me specifically, he explains, but I told them I'd be sending you, so there should be no problems there. They want you to travel to Rebel 2 in the Korea system and meet them. Be wary of Federation patrols. You can be sure that whatever the motivation, the Federation won't like it that we've been working with their enemies. People tend to disappear into the clutches of the Bureau when they get caught doing things like that. Anything you get, bring back to Corrin as soon as you get it, insists Jack. I have a feeling that what they've got will be fairly important. Good luck, Spike Spiegel. Watch your back. Alright, so a pretty simple, go here, get that mission. That being said, we are going to take care of that side mission first, down in rear, because 1, it's fun, and 2, it won't take that long. Just quick couple jumps down to Danny. We're going to land, so we have a base of operations. And now we get to go and blow up the... oh, what was the ship called? It'll be fairly obvious when we jump in. It wasn't the Gunslinger, was it? Yeah, it was the Gunslinger. But as you see, like, 150,000 credits for blowing one ship up. It's not bad. He's supposed to be in the system. Yeah, he just jumped in. Alright. So we're going to close the distance, get behind him, blow him out of the sky. We have to check his base down here on the listening post. You find your target hideout fairly easily, and you quickly gather together pretty much everything you can carry to take back to the guild offices on the Cane Band. Okay. So we have our stolen goods. But we will do that when we bring back the intelligence from the rebels. So, in something of a rarity, I actually learned something I didn't know about this game when I was doing some recording. I actually had tried to record this earlier, but due to some audio issues I couldn't use that recording. But I was actually scanned when doing this mission for the rebels, and apparently there is an alternative Federation storyline if you get coerced into joining it, which is what happens if you fail. And I've never done it, so I'm pretty excited. I'll have to do a video on it. But for the time being, we are going to try to be successful here, and I think that the, coerced Federation storyline will be its own little series. So we're going to try to be successful. On arrival, you're greeted by 2 men. You recognize one as being Dr. Aurelio Pentecost, a former Federation counselor, and the only honest one in recent years. If he is alive, you wonder what other rebel myths are true. The other man you don't recognize, but he wears the robes of a high-ranking member of the Church of Crimhwa. So Crimhwa is, there's like 2 systems that actually have flavor text about them, and they're the ones that sell and buy the Crimhwa holy symbols. As far as I know, this is the only time that this particular character comes up. After entering a small room, you learn the other man is Cardinal Vardi di Valera. Our agents have uncovered evidence that the Bureau is harboring people with prices on their heads, begins Dr. Pentecost without delay. We think that they are being coerced into working for the Bureau in exchange for protection from your organization. The information is all contained in here. He hands you a data crystal. We hope it helps you in some way. I apologize if this seems rude, he continues. We must be on our way, as we do not want the Bureau getting any solid leads on our whereabouts. Good luck with whatever you decide to do, Captain. Alright, so we gotta bring this back to Jack. We gotta do it without being scanned. So we're gonna do our very best to make that happen. From what I read from getting caught the last time, it is dark what they do to you. You are greeted by a grim smile from Corrin as you enter the office. Thanks for that, she says seriously. Oh, so this is from the Mission BBS Trader one. That traitor has been bothering our people for many months now. You are a little surprised at the heat in the voice of the normally congenial Daymaster. She chats with you for a while, catching up on all the gossip since you were last in before transferring the money into your account and sending you on your way. So here's the main mission blurb. You quickly make your way to the guild offices, keeping clear of all Federation personnel on your way there. As soon as you walk in the door, Corrin shuts up shop and Folstam walks out from the back room. What do they have for us? Asks Jack, and you hand over the data crystal explaining the events that went along with it. Dr. Aurelio Pentecost is alive? Exclaims Corin, a look of utter surprise on her face. He did so much for Port Kane when he was representing them. More counselors should be like him. Haven't the Bureau officially declared him dead? Yeah, replies Jack absent-mindedly, as he scans the information in the crystal. The Bureau have been using that to discredit the rebels for years now. Interesting, isn't it? Folstom drags himself away from the data and turns to you. It's going to take a while to analyze all of this, he explains. I'll probably need your help when I figure it all out. When I do, I'll find you. In the meantime, I have to find somebody to help me decrypt this damn thing. After Jack says his goodbye, you and Corin are left alone. Well, that got him interested, she says cryptically. You give her a questioning look. Remember what I said about him retiring? Corin asks, and you nod. I think that's going to be postponed for a while, now that he has something new in his sights. He's been moping around for a couple years now, she explains, going over the same old stuff day in and day out. He became the Night Master because he always enjoyed a challenge, and so the extraordinary nature of the job suited him down to the ground. But eventually, he has seen and dealt with just about everything, and he was getting bored. He looks as though he could get his teeth into this, though. Corin punches up a credit transfer. I've transferred over 250,000 credits, she continues. I think it is worth it, considering the dangerous political nature of this mission and the fact that you have done something that has brought Jack back into the fold. Enjoy. Alright, so I believe we were successful and did not get scanned, so we're going to go to the bar and see if we can... Yep, we're all good. It comes as no surprise to you when you see Jack Folstom stride purposefully into the bar. What does bother you is that your ever-confident Night Master is wearing a slightly worried frown. I'm glad I found you, he mutters. We've got a problem. Jack looks around and leans closer before whispering. The Bureau is trying to shut us down. I'm just glad I got you before they did. You look a little skeptical. I wouldn't be visiting the Earth office anytime soon, says, noting your reaction. They got Corin, and have impounded any number of young bounty hunters since. I hate to think what they're doing to them now. He pales at the thought. You have never seen a Bureau interrogation cell before, but if half the stories you've heard are true, you are pretty glad that you haven't. Jack opens his mouth, but something over your shoulder draws his attention. You turn to see a group of Federation militia entering the bar via the back door. We leave now, he hisses urgently, and you both get up to leave quietly without looking in their direction. Halt, calls one, and you have no doubt who they mean. Things are about to get serious. Blaster bolts whine around you, and you and Jack roll to cover. Patrons rush the exits, and outside you see more feds trying to push their way through. Jack, we gotta go, you yell, returning fire and trying not to hit any innocent people. Just hold them off for a few more seconds, Jack yells above the din of battle. I'm working on the walls here. Hurry it up, Jack, I'm running out of ammo, you yell. Folstom bellows for you to get down, and as you hit the deck, an explosion rocks the room. The bulk of the Federation troopers fall to the ground in a concussion wave, hurls bits of plasticrete and flying debris at them. Jack leads the way as you burst out through the dust and smoke. Troopers are pouring in from all directions, but for the moment you are able to hide in the confusion. Suddenly a trooper starts to open fire, and Jack is caught in a hail of lasgun rounds. You grab him, but you can tell it's too late. His side is missing several large chunks, and the smell of cauterized flesh is strong in the air. Spike Spiegel, you've got to get clear, he gasps as you pull him into cover. You know that I'm done for, so get out of here as fast as you can. Those Bureau bastards won't get me without a fight. You share a look of understanding, and bolt off down the promenade, stowing your blaster. Long live the rebellion, you hear Jack yell, followed by a station-rocking explosion. You don't look back, but you decide to throw your lot in with the rebels. Alright, so this is the official start of the rebel campaign. There is one more little unique bit of dialogue when we go up to the rebel station, which basically says, oh, you're coming from the Guild of Bounty Hunters. And so we'll go and read that, and then we will call it an episode. Like I said, I will give the Coerced Federation storyline its own little mini playlist, but that'll be for another time. Because this is, I think, the more complete bounty hunter experience. You are met by a slightly suspicious rebel dockmaster who inquires why you've returned. You explain the current circumstances of the death of your friend and what happened to the guild. You don't go into detail, your emotions won't allow you. Dockmaster understands, telling you that any number of rebels have similar pasts. He tells you that you are lucky to be alive, although your own resourcefulness helped. Normally, the Bureau stops at nothing to achieve its own ends. We always have a need for freighter captains, he explains. you nod in agreement with the implied level of security. And you can do that without actually gaining a lot of our secrets. If you were planning on doing something more dangerous, you're going to have to prove yourself first. Go and see the dockmaster on Merrill in the Aldebaran system when he is off duty in the bar, and give him this. He hands you a data crystal. He should be able to find something for you. Alright. So, this of course is my favorite little part of the Rebel, Pirate, Velos, Federation storylines where you go and do deliveries for Jay, but it's no different from if you were doing it in any of those. So, thank you for joining me for this Bounty Hunter little mission string. It was a lot of fun. I hope you had a good time. If you feel so inclined, please go and check out either the main storyline playlists that we have up on the channel or some of the other side missions. But regardless of what you do, until next time, I hope you have a good one.